Hello, trading is closed on April 28th, 2022. Let's start with our disclaimer. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, Friday the 29th of April, 2022. Remember, I can be wrong. Any trade should be at your own risk. Please tell your friends about the channel. If you want the webinar, please give me your email address. We didn't have any clear signal yesterday. Prices closed, little changed. So my policy is just to ignore the day and pretend it never happened, repeat the forecast we had here. Oh, I should say we called for the pattern with the early high, which is this, and tomorrow has the early low. So I said if we gapped up that the rally could have legs. Here's what we said. Gapped up, take out the high, rally should have legs. Well, we gapped up, took out the high. This isn't exactly what I was expecting because it was immediately rejected. And when you gap up and immediately reject it, it doesn't always work, but this time it did. Before this day, the plan was we had an ending diagonal triangle, which was here, and the target is to retrace to the origin. So we've actually retraced to the origin. That's the target of the recovery. It's a target, not a stop and reverse, but we have a clear 5 waves up, so it's one reasonable place for this rally to end. We also would be happier if we stayed under 43.1621, the old FOMC price, which, if we're going to have a big drop, usually holds. It's not an absolute requirement, but that's what usually happens. During the day, MEJT said this late rally is false, gives a target 42.7453. Unless we get up smartly, that's my call. Futures are down smartly as I'm recording this, so it shouldn't be much of a hurdle to hit the target. We drew all these trend lines. We actually broke through this gray one and closed right at it. Makes me kind of suspicious. Something else might be going on. If we gap down tomorrow, that break doesn't count, and gapping down tomorrow looks like it's a given at this point. But it would make a clearer picture if we never broke through in the first place, because I'm expecting a pretty hard drop here. We now do have this volume spike in the E-mini contract. It's not as big as I would like to see if it's a major bottom, but still it's a spike, and it argues for a recovery. Perhaps you've already had it, but the signal's there. Well, here's how I'm counting this. We don't know the degree of the waves, but I think we finished wave 1 down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count A, B, C up with a good fib. C is twice A. So that could be the end of A of 2. Could be the end of 2 itself. Stops in a 4th wave of lesser degree. It's a logical place for it to end. But it doesn't tell you, if it's the end of wave 2 or wave A of 2. Tomorrow's pattern has the early low. It could still gap up. Typically, it's a bullish day with a final hour high. If it's weak, one should expect more weakness in the days to follow. There's a lower MEJT target. Unless we gap up smartly, the rules favor printing. We also hit the target of the ending diagonal triangle retrace. Completed 5 waves up. Futures are down sharply as I write this. It would surprise me if we didn't see the lower target. That doesn't guarantee a lower close. And we have a VIX Bollinger Band reversal buy signal, and we have sentiment indicators at historic extremes of public bearishness, which is a contrary indicator. Now, these aren't pinpoint indicators, but usually people get really negative like this when the decline's about to end, not when it's going to start, which is what I've been thinking. Eventually, we should break lower. Nothing prevents that from happening now. It would make a clearer picture if we consolidated first and worked our way out of the sentiment extreme. So I'd be happier if this is red A and we had an ABC and piddled around for a while, got people less negative than they were. But, it's not an absolute requirement. For tomorrow, we look for lower prices. Here's our target. It's already under where we're trading in futures, and don't forget the day typically is a rally day. So if we do drop here, it's possible this area holds. It's even possible we consolidate. It's just not a lock at this point as far as I'm concerned. It has the early low. It's a negative day. Usually when there's a big drop in the opening on these days, more weakness comes. But we haven't opened yet, and who knows what will happen overnight. So the only absolute target I have is this one. But this leg, I think, ended today. Doesn't mean the big drop has to start now, because this might hold. Might. And that's today's call.